Cheers and welcome to Leaning Post Wines.
This is amazing. Good morning. Welcome to Stony Creek. Are you still considered Stony Creek? You're kind of right on the edge of Grimsby, but you're still considered Hamilton, right?
Absolutely. So I am the last farm when you come in to, when you're coming to Hamilton, or the first farm into Hamilton if you're coming from Niagara bound.
It's amazing that you guys are you're like a little winery in the city.
Absolutely. It's not what we intended when we bought this farm, but the city has come all around us, and it is an amazing, amazing thing that happened because we've got people walking down the driveway with their dogs, with the kids, and having a great time. That's what I wanted. I wanted people to really feel welcome and have a wonderful time when they're at the winery.
Well, you've got a beautiful patio space. We're going to be heading out into the wineries as well to take a look at all your different grapes. You guys are certified sustainable. That's really cool.
Absolutely. It's something that's really important to Ilya and myself. Really want to be not only great environmental stewards, but also like we need this. We have 3 children.
Yeah.
We need to ensure that the winery is economically, viable
sustainable,
as well.
And
sustainable, So, and that really starts right in the vineyard. Everything we do in the winery is always just looking at reducing waste as much as we possibly can.
Well, speaking of wine, what have you just poured us here? This is a beautiful bottle.
This is our traditional method, Blanc to Blanc. So this is 100% Chardonnay. I love this wine, and I will tell you, I almost served my husband with divorce papers if he wasn't going to make this wine for me. I think a bottle of sparkling in the fridge just means that, on a good day or a bad day,
I always have a bottle of sparkling in my fridge. It may or may not be open, but it is there. It is there. Cheers.
Cheers. So on the nose on this wine, really, really beautiful lemon curd. This to me is like taking a lemon biscotti and dipping it in a cloud.
Oh, that is so good. And viewers know how I feel about sparkling.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. And now I have to ask you, because Tim Bolin, my other co-host, was raving about your Pinot Noir. Just couldn't say enough nice things about it today.
So one of the things we really, I can't stress enough, we're too small to make bad wine. If you don't come to the winery and have a tremendous experience tasting and learning, then I've not done my job properly. We are really proud of the fact that we are making wines in Hamilton, in Niagara, that are, are exceptional on the world stage.
Yeah, they're internationally successful.
Absolutely.
These wines.
We have our wines in some of Michelin star restaurants in London, in Denmark. We're looking to go to New York.
Oh, that's incredible.
But that's the pride that it's not, I want people who are local to enjoy. I don't want to I want everyone to experience what we're doing in Niagara and in Canada in general.
You said something interesting to me earlier. You said that we were kind of talking about that you guys are very down to earth, not snotty, not bougie. Very real and welcoming.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing for me is having an experience where you've got great wines in the glass, but also that you feel comfortable when you come here. The worst experience that I could possibly imagine is coming in, not feeling welcome. That is the opposite of what you will have at Leaning Post. I want people to come in, enjoy, learn something. So our tasting experience are always led, I'm a certified sommelier, and are always led by people who are very passionate and knowledgeable about wine. We will not only just pour you a glass of wine and walk away. We will talk about the flavor components. We will talk about how that wine was made, and most importantly, how that wine is going to pair with food. I love what we do.
Are going to be talking about this. I love your passion. We are going to be talking about the food coming up. We're also going to be checking out where they actually make the wine right here on site. Lots more coming up on Morning Live. Cheers.
Cheers.
We are now taking a look at some of the winemaking that they do here at Leaning Post. Ilya's joining us now, and you are the winemaker. You're the guy that comes back here and does all the magic, right?
Correct. And we have a wonderful group that help me out, of course. So.
Well, you can't be the only one, right?
No.
There's just too much to do.
That's absolutely true.
This is so cool. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, so these are clay amphora. Best way to say it is I like to say this is the first 700 to 800 years of wine.
Oh,
And then the
okay.
last 200 years, we've used all the fancy technology. What I
tanks
love
and
of these
everything.
is they're handmade, and they are what they seem. It's literally just a big 500-liter clay pot lined with beeswax. So it's kind of the original way that people would have held and made wine. And so we love that idea.
Lined
So
with
this is like really,
beeswax?
yeah, this is like the really, really old school way of doing things. And I
Talk to
love
me about
that.
the beeswax. I need to know more about that.
Well, everything's hand done, right? So
Right.
they actually make this by hand, and then to stop it from leaking,
That's
they
what
actually
they do.
line the inside. And so that's what I was saying. I love the idea of making like really original styles of wine, and the amphora are definitely part of that. That's what we do here.
incredible.
So although people see these fancy tanks and
tanks,
everything,
yeah.
which is awesome. This is very modern technology. You got the stainless with lots of control. You
Yep.
have barrels. Everybody remembers that. That's
I've
cool.
tasted a lot of wine out of these before.
That's amazing. I love to have those. Another alternative thing that we do, we added about 3-4 years ago, we added some concrete tanks.
And I've never seen these either. You guys are like blowing my mind when it
Yeah,
comes
so
to
this is one of the
winemaking.
really cool things that we've done. This is also a little bit older school. Before stainless steel and everything was the most common thing, most people actually had these concrete tanks. And so what they do is they have a natural way of controlling temperature. They're really thick. They, you don't have to have necessarily all the fancy equipment, but it makes amazing, again, kind of old school wines and really brings kind of the terroir forward. So I love having all these options as a winemaker.
Like
That's
when
the
you
best way
say
to put it.
old school wines, like give me an example of something like that.
Well, the biggest thing is our wines are kind of sort of influenced by Europe anyway. Just our climate is more like, maybe northern France, and the southern Ontario is more like that than say like the west coast.
Yep.
And part of that is using these kind of things to make sort of European influenced wines, but then maybe bring the terroir of Niagara forward. So make them taste like our area, if that makes sense. But our influences are definitely old world.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And we're, after we've tasted them all, we've been really given a good perspective of what comes from what.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Is again, think of this as part of my palette, right? Like I have different ways of doing things, of framing things, and the different containers and the different ways of doing things. As a winemaker, gives me a palette to create different wines and express wines differently. So
amazing. Okay, well, they don't just do wine here. There's food as well. Into the wine room. This is where you can buy all of their beautiful bottles of wine. I'm here again with Nadia, and you have such a great selection. It is a fairly limited selection, which I think is nice because for people like me, I tend to be really picky with what I like to drink. So when I find something I like the fact that it's kind of exclusive.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So for us, our whole philosophy is finding that wine that you will love and maybe changing your minds on something that maybe you've kind of written off in the past.
Yeah, or haven't tried yet.
Absolutely.
LCBO strike. This is a big deal right now.
It is a big deal. So one of the things that I really want to tell your viewers is that we are open. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to find that local winery in your area,
I agree.
Or local craft brewery, and just really explore what's in your backyard. It's a wonderful opportunity, and when you come to Leaning Post, we can either do a tasting or if you don't have enough time, we also have a bottle shop where we will walk through, find that perfect wine for dinner. Tell me what you're doing for dinner, and I will pair something perfectly for you. So that is the whole experience at Leaning Post. We really want people to be delighted when they leave and to have a great experience.
I love that touching customer service. Like I can come in here and say, okay, Nadia, I'm having steak tonight, but tomorrow we're having fish, and I've got friends coming over, and then we're gonna have some pasta on the weekend, and then we're gonna have a barbecue. Like you can set me up with a 6-pack on my way.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Steak, I'm totally going Cuvée Winona, named after the town that we are in, Hamilton. So, and it's a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Franc, and such beautiful dark fruit flavors, cinnamon, nutmeg on the palate. You're gonna love it. Gonna pair so wonderfully with steak.
See, she knows what she's talking about. So LCBO strike, don't fear. You can come into your local winery like this one here at Leaning Post. Coming up, we are going to be heading out into the vineyards. We're going to take a look at some of the grapes and talk about how great it is to be totally organic and sustainable. It is such a beautiful space here. It's like a little vineyard right in the heart of the city. Lots more coming up on Morning Live. Well, we have now moved into the vineyard, being joined by Ilya again. And Ilya, it is such a beautiful space. I mean, it's a bit different because you don't often see residential homes on the outskirts of the vineyard, but that just gives people the perspective of how close you are to the city.
We absolutely are. We are still in the city of Hamilton, but we are kind of in the region of Niagara from a grape growing perspective. So yeah, this is a historic vineyard. I like to say we were here before the houses.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, it's just been amazing to be part of it. Honestly, we have awesome people who live next door. They walk over. They love it. It's literally like having an amazing little winery in your backyard.
It's true.
And that's what we love about it. We love just kind of getting great wine in front of people. So.
And it's not just grapes that you guys are harvesting here. Like, I'm seeing mostly grapes, but there's stuff in between.
Well, what we're doing is we are certified sustainable. So the amazing thing about this vineyard is, again, we live here with our kids. So everything we do is really low intervention, really great for the environment. So you can see we're not going crazy, no herbicides, we're not getting rid of all the stuff. We're letting things grow naturally, build biodiversity, and have kind of a little bit of an ecosystem in our vineyard. I think that's
better, right?
It's so much better for the environment and makes better wine.
Yeah. What kind of grapes do you have? You've got a variety, I know.
We do. Our original planting, we have Pinot Noir here. We're kind of in front of that.
Apparently, your Pinot Noir is mwah!
Well, it's one of the things we're known for internationally, so everywhere around the world.
It's a big deal.
And then we have Chardonnay. And the new planting, we have a little bit of Gamay and a little bit of an unusual grape variety called Dolcetto. So that we're just starting with that. But the thing we're really known for is the Pinot Noir and Chardonnay for sure.
Wow, you guys have an amazing facility here. The fact that you guys are sustainable and like that you're open to everyone to come here.
Absolutely. We're super open, super friendly. People can just walk through. Again, we're not spraying anything weird, so you can walk through anytime. You can kind of have a look around, see what we're about.
Dogs and kids can run around.
Kids. I mean, our dog and kids run around everywhere. So everybody else's can too.
Yeah, but I love that as an example. It's like it gives you that sense of community, which is so nice.
For sure. We are a local family winery. When we talk about local, this is what we want people to, we hope people support us. We're that family farm next door, literally.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. We've had a great time. We've learned a lot about your beautiful wines. All the information will be up on our website at chch.com.